All right, everybody, we're waiting on Jared, and then we'll do a roll call. Here he is.
Sorry, guys.
Traffic.
Traffic. Ooh. Somebody do something about that.
Morning,
traffic.
Sarge. How are you? Good morning.
Buddy over here.
No. Okay.
Out there. I'm sorry, I didn't have our video on. We'll let Jared get situated, and then I'll start the recording, and then Linda, you can take a roll call.
Okay.
I'm
sorry.
You can just call me.
Does my video have to be on?
I don't think yours does. The board members
Okay.
do.
Okay, great, thanks.
No, the meeting to Brian.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait on Brian, but
Okay. I'll wait for Dr. Dave to get back.
oh yeah. And Brian's asking for the Zoom link, so, but I don't think you need to wait. I think you need to just go ahead.
You want me to send that to him?
You start recording, I'll call.
No, Grant's gonna do it.
Okay.
Once you start recording, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Okay. I hate AI. I really do. They constantly want to help me, and they don't help me. Constantly want to help me, and I'm like, no, that's not the word. That's not what I want. We can condense this for you. No.
I know. Let me summarize this for you. No.
Live streaming the meeting today.
That's new.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not.
Hey, they already started.
If you're ready to start recording, Heather.
That was a really good talk you gave.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was good to see you there. Thanks for being there.
All right.
We've given you rave reviews, even before you got there. Okay, the time is 10:02 a.m. and I call to order this meeting of the Arkansas State Board of Licensure for Professional Engineers and Professional Surveyors. Miss Linda, will you take a roll call, please?
Yes. Keith Sykes,
Here.
Tom Scott,
Here.
David Beasley,
Here,
Marie Klein. Okay. Donald Perry,
here.
Brian Moore. Okay. Is he coming?
He may be late, but we'll let you
Okay.
know if he does.
Okay. Jared Wiley,
Here.
Rod Williams,
I'm here.
Kyle Sawyer.
Here.
Okay. Heather Richardson,
Here.
Grant Gregg,
Here.
Agency Counsel Jessica Kloss.
Here.
Are there any others that I did not call? I turn it back to you, President.
Thank you.
Hold on. Brian Moore.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is just a reminder to everyone, if you are attending in Zoom, you have to have your camera on. Thank you, Brian.
So just confirm all board members are present except for Murray Klein,
Correct?
correct? Okay. With that, we'll move to our agenda, consent agenda items 2A, B, and C. Do I have a motion?
I move we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
So I have a motion by Dr. Beasley, I have a second by Scott. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote to approve agenda item number 2, A, B, and C. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item, administrative items 3A.
Yes. So 3A is the financials. So it should show the adjustments that we went to Peer and we got regarding the extra help and the salaries. We're short every year. So we went to Peer and got that additional funding. So we're gonna make it through to June, which is the end of the fiscal year. The other thing I wanted to bring your attention to is the MOU, the MOU is the ADLL administrative cost per the MOU. We are satisfying that. It will be done in June. That'll be our last payment. And we also, I want to draw your attention to the cash and treasury. We're doing really well. We have $2,861,571.83 in the treasury. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is the fact that on the payments for the penalties, McGedrick keeps on paying on his fine, his penalty. And we still have outstanding Robert America. And we did receive Billy Lawrence's penalty. He did pay it. So that, and Jesse can talk more about that particular case, but he did pay it and it was good and it's in our bank. James Dreer, he owes the $500. And I believe he paid that.
I think he paid that.
I think he paid that. It's not on your report because your report was done previously, but I think since the report came out, since it was finalized, he paid that $500. So do I have any questions?
Yeah, Robert America.
Yeah.
He's the fellow that we can't find. Is that right?
Well, interestingly enough, we have to send him invoices. We have to justify, so we have to send him invoices. And the last invoice we sent was April 1st.
Yes.
Did you send one May 1st?
The dates are on the 15th of the month, so
Okay.
I don't know the last one I
We
got,
need
but the
to-
last one I got.
We need to send it.
The
if not.
April one we
But I
did
think it's the
receive.
April one, didn't it?
April, we did receive a green card that was signed, not
It
by
was signed.
him, but by somebody.
Somebody. So we know he's getting the invoices, the past due invoices. It's a difficult case again because he's not an Arkansan. He's an Oklahoman, so we can't do like a tax lien or any kind of pressure like that. And we have to continue, we can't write it off for 10 years. So we're gonna continue to try to get that money from Robert America, that penalty. If he was an Arkansan, we could maybe put a lien or something. But since he's not, he's from Oklahoma. He does his work out of Oklahoma, his residence is in Oklahoma. It's a difficult situation
Yeah.
because it was unlicensed practice. And he does live in Oklahoma, it's just he chooses not to respond.
Is he licensed in Oklahoma?
No, oh no. Mm.
He's not in
He's a
it.
contractor.
No,
Okay.
yeah, he's a contractor. So,
Any of the board members? Do any of the board members have any questions that are online?
Nope.
No.
No, ma'am.
Then, do we have a motion to approve the FY26 financial report for February, March 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Dr. Beasley, have a second by Wiley. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. Moving to agenda item 3D, Arkansas Labor and Licensing Report, appointments.
Okay. Let me get to that. All right, so currently,
We have 6 members that have expired terms.
we will have,
8 members that will have expired terms the end of June 30th.
the only board member that is a current term is Jared. So everybody else, their terms have expired, and it's my understanding everybody has reapplied for their appointment. I did hear rumors from some board members that there was some discussions from the appointments office that was calling them, and I would appreciate it if y'all would let me know that that's happening so I can be on the lookout. But yeah, that's the current status of that.
I have not reapplied.
Well, you did your term, your second term where you weren't appointed is almost up, yeah. And that's a good point. So I did ask Steve Guntharp, who is the chief of staff of ADLL, y'all may remember. I did ask him during a director meeting if you need to reapply, and he said it probably would be best that you do, because I know some of you, like Brian, Tom, Brian and Tom especially, because you're coming up on expired, you've served your 4 years again without being reappointed. So I would say Brian, Tom, Dave, or Rod, Murray and Kyle may be okay. But Keith and Donald, you're up next. So you will need to reapply, and then the Brian, Tom, Dave, Rod would be a good idea to reapply to make sure that they have your applications and your desires known. I know Dr. Beasley is. Do you want to tell the board your news?
We are
I don't know.
probably
Sorry.
going to move out of state in the July timeframe next year. So at that point, it'll be moot.
Yeah, because he can't start. So, but we're happy to have you. Until
So,
then, yeah.
Well, and I would like to be emeritus, but
and we definitely can do that.
beyond that, I won't be around.
Does anybody have any questions? I think we talk about it every time, so. Okay, so the other information on here is the MOU. This is the FY 2027 MOU for ADLL.
Oh.
Does somebody have a question? Okay. So, basically the amount has gone up, 31.54%. It's based on 8.5% of salaries and benefits. So it is a considerable chunk. It has gone up. I don't know if y'all remember, every year we sign the MOU and we pay them for executive services, primarily salaries, because we do all of our ACES stuff here. But they had given us a discount the past 2 years, the department. So the discount, they're not giving us a discount this year. They're going to charge the 8.5%. So that's what that is.
8.5% of their salaries?
No, of our salaries.
Oh,
Yeah, our salaries and our matching. So our personnel costs, it's 8.5% of our personnel costs. And did I include that? I don't know if I
That's the
did.
43,000.
And I would appreciate a vote accepting this so that I can sign it.
What was the discount for?
I don't know, but I felt blessed that we got it. I didn't go into detail with Tyler Kane, who is the CFO. I didn't really go into detail the past 2 years. He just said, hey, we're going to, instead of the full 8.5%, we're going to give you a discount. And I was like, great, give us a discount. So this is the first time he's not doing that. But I mean, it is 8.5%, which is
That's standard for other boards.
standard, yeah, and it's based on a federal Department of Labor number. And it's always been that number, we've just gotten a discount. So that's why it appears to be so, and it is, it's 31% more this coming fiscal year. But that's because we didn't get the discount, and our salaries have gone up a little bit too, so, and matching, that's retirement. So, we have somebody in the drop. So, yeah.
All right then, if there's no further discussion, do I have a motion to approve the FY 2027 MOU with ADLL for the PEPS board?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Wiley, I have a second from Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item 3B3.
That is the legislative audit. We are currently in that audit. We've been supplying information to her. I thought it was really good information because one time she wanted us to supply our deposits a certain way or something, and we have to do like a cut and paste and a special thing that she wanted in a special format, and we forgot some of it to cut and paste it in there. So she called us and we found the error, and she was like, but she said, she gave us a compliment, which I felt great about. She said, I knew something was wrong because y'all, I never have to spend time with your finances. Everything is always done correctly. It's easy to follow. And I appreciate y'all. She said, so I knew something had been omitted or there was an issue because I never have problems with y'all. So that made me feel pretty good, pat on the back. I was like, great, I'm glad that you feel that way. One thing that may come up is that she did ask for our maintenance agreement for Pels, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. She asked for that. We did not do a maintenance agreement in FY '25. And that was per DIS. They were DIS at the time, I think. Maybe they were OSD, but they did not do a maintenance agreement for our database. So that may come up, but it's nothing that we really have control over. I talked to ADLL about it, Ken Anderson, who's the IT chief, and he said, you know, there's nothing you can do about it because if they're not going to send you that maintenance agreement, there's nothing you can do. So we weren't able to send it to her. So heads up on that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. On number 4, as y'all know, the fiscal session began and it ended. And we do have an act. Everything got approved. So our appropriation, the board's appropriation was approved. I have that saved if you want it. And now we're just getting ready for the next legislative session in 27. PELS. So as y'all know, that is our licensure system. That's our database. I haven't had a meeting with OST, but certain employees with OST has basically said they are going to stop supporting and developing the database. Not now, but in the future. So we're going to have to come up with a different database. ADLL has informed me as of April that we are going to go to Tyler Tech ELP is what they call it. And I kind of got confused because other boards, engineering boards, there's like 2, have Tyler Tech. So I contacted them because I was like, hey, you know, do you have this ELP system? Because I had heard ELP is not customizable. And they said, no, we have RLP and it is customizable. And I was like, okay. So Linda and I attended the Tyler Tech Discovery, that's what they call it, Discovery meeting yesterday. So that was my first meeting with them. And they informed me that it's actually the RLP is what we'll get, which is customizable. And they asked me a bunch of questions. I think we came to the conclusion, even with Tyler Tech, that probably 80% of our data, they do the same way. It just looks different. It's probably user friendly because, you know, our database, it was developed in 2010. So it's going to be a friendlier database. The only thing that they have questions about is the board management. So how you see things and how it puts together the applications for your agenda and how they do the notes. They said they're going to look into it and get back to me, but that is one feature it does not have. So we'll have to come up with something similar. The other thing that I'm going to tell you about that I think is important is that some of you know NCEES is currently developing a database called ELVS. Don't ask me what it's for. I don't know the acronym. But it's a licensing communication database. They're currently testing it in Texas. What it's going to do, because as y'all may know or realize, I don't know, probably 80% of the applications we receive are basically an NCEES record, right? So it would be to our advantage to be able to upload the record, because currently
we have to print the record, then save the record, then upload it to Pels. So when we get 45 records, which this happens all the time, it's an all-day job for our people because we have to download, print them off, upload them, and then upload them to Pels, and then they have to do the data entry. So if there was a way that we could just upload the records to the appropriate application, Jared Wiley's application, that would cut down immense time. We wouldn't be killing so many trees. It would really benefit us. The other thing that they're looking into is if there is a way that they actually, because it's the same data. If you look at a record and you look at what we collect, it's the same data. The only difference is going to be if it's a reciprocity, you know, we're going to have that notice, right? And payment. And so there's a few documents that are state specific. Every state has that are going to be different. But other than that, all that data, if it could go into a new database, that would save us an immense amount of time and effort. And I know other professions do this too. Their national organization has a record similar. So I approached the subject with the department. They loved it. I approached the subject yesterday in our discovery meeting and they loved it too. And they said, we think definitely we could do the uploading of the record to like what we would call images. It would be as something else, but they could upload it. If NCES gets it available to us to upload. And then they said they would work on the data later. But that he was kind with. Like he said, you know, that would be a phase 2. We need to get you situated first, but that would be a phase 2. But that was one of my big wants with a database was that we could do that because that would save us an immense amount of time and effort. So let's see if there's anything else about that. I'll be keeping y'all up to date on it. I do not have a cost. I don't have a cost or anything yet. I will share that with you when I have it. Is there any questions online? Is there any questions?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
You and your team
Nope.
develop scope of work.
No.
Yeah, Jared asked a great question. We asked him, you know, we said, because I did a database at the Attorney General's office. And so I kind of have, you know, so I said, don't you want a flow? Don't you want a scope of work? Don't you want us to tell you, these are our license types, this is the flow? And he said, not now. So we have another meeting next Monday to talk about other things. But I guess this is just the initial, what do you need? And, you know, we answered a lot of questions about the flow. But as soon as he does, if he does require that, definitely we will supply him with a scope, and we also will supply him with a flow chart and all that. Yeah.
I would get concerned if he didn't ask.
Well, we were kind of, Linda and I were kind of surprised that he didn't ask for at least a flow, you know, like how many license types and that sort of thing. But I think we're at the beginning stages. We do have, you know, Tyler Tech is taking care, and that's another thing I need to tell you all about. So the Pels database, there was, if you remember, there was an act in the past legislation in 25 that it basically required Tyler Tech, INA, Arkansas Gov Pay, to get off of DIS OST servers. So we have been in the process of doing that as of March. So currently, our payment process is off the OST and DIS servers, and it's the renewal piece, which is a bigger piece, data piece. The renewals have switched over and they're working fine because surveyors, it's time for them to start renewing. So we're watching very carefully to make sure everything is okay. But that piece, it's called the CCP integration, that has been moved. So now we are waiting on the applications and the exams, which the exam piece is tiny. The applications is a little bit bigger. But OST has to do coding and prep work, and so does Tyler Tech. So we're currently, Linda and I are fielding a lot of emails back and forth about what's working, what's not working. And as soon as that piece gets moved over, then we're going to be in compliance, because that's what we're waiting on, is that one piece.
Whose equipment is this running on?
Well, our database has always been developed and maintained on OST DIS, but they're saying they're going to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So we have to get the payment portal stuff moved first, and we need to get it moved to be in compliance with the act that was passed in 25. So as soon as that happens, and we're in discussions with the database, which resides, it's your database, you pay for it, you own it, but it is at OST DIS. And I don't know, I'm going to be honest, I mean, there's so many I don't knows right now. I've been told that we probably are going to have to run the two databases concurrent, which is really difficult for staff, but I don't know that for certain. That's just what has been alluded
Well,
to.
once we are divorced, OST,
OST. That's the new DIS. Yeah, DIS is now OST.
whose computers are you going to be residing on? Are
Okay.
they going to be here?
No. They've never been here. All of your databases reside across the street over, well, now the 501 and out, Ferndale or whatever, and out by Chenal. So our servers have never been housed here for anything. It's always been housed at DIS.
But they won't be there.
The only thing that won't be there will be the database. So our J drive and all of that will still be housed at OST. The only thing that won't be housed by them would be the Tyler Tech database.
And where's it going to be?
It's going to be on their servers.
They know.
We'll be maintaining it. Yeah, it'll be on their servers. It will be your database, but it will be on their servers.
What's the timeline on this change?
The secretary has said immediately, but talking to him yesterday, they were like 2027, end of 2027 maybe for us. We do have an advantage, and Linda and I, it did make us feel better. There is a guy that works on the development. His name is Justin Kitchen, and he has helped us in the past when he was INA. And then he also helped us convert to some Tyler Tech products early on, so years ago. So I didn't know that he was still around, and I had a meeting in April, and I said, is Justin Kitchen still around? And they said, yeah, and he's going to be at your discovery meeting. So we actually met with him. So he does have knowledge about our process. So that makes me feel a little bit better about everything. Yeah. So does anybody online have any questions about this new database?
Nope.
Not at this time.
Okay. Then I'm gonna move on. There's nothing to vote on right now. I just don't have that information. As soon as I do, as soon as I have the cost and a concrete timeline, so maybe next board meeting or September board meeting, we'll be talking about it at that time. Okay?
Okay, any further questions or discussions on administrative items under three, we covered everything 3B, didn't we? Yeah. So moving on to agenda item 3C, update on 53 CV-26-6, Lawrence Speed Board.
My brief is due May 21st. We'll get that submitted and then stay tuned.
Yeah, you may wanna tell him about that his motion was denied again.
Yeah, he requested a stay of the imposition of the suspension and they denied that again, so I think we're.
And then they accepted your briefing schedule, which I thought was good.
Yeah, normally the judge would set a briefing schedule before either of the parties submit a brief, but his counsel submitted a brief before that happened, so I was kind of in limbo as to when mine was gonna be due, so I submitted a motion requesting until May 21st and they granted that. So once I submit that, the judge could make a decision on the briefs or they could request oral argument, so we'll see.
We'll see
which
what
route
happens, yeah.
But it's moving right along. And again, he paid his penalty, his $8,250.
He paid that. So
That's one thing. We have not received the, and none of this was stayed. So the board's decision was not stayed, so he does owe it. We have not received the 6 hours of continuing education. But that's gonna come up due in July. So we'll be looking for that. We might have to remind him, Grant, that he still
Yes.
lacks that. But,
We did a 6-month suspension, correct? That goes into July.
I think
So
so.
by the time our next meeting, that's.
yeah, and probably, yeah, they're gonna be briefing. So it's gonna be interesting, yeah, how that's all gonna play out.
So his suspension, I know we talk about this every meeting, but his suspension was in effect while he was going through the,
Appeal process, yes.
That's right.
Yeah, it was denied. The motion to stay was denied. Twice. It was denied. So,
Really 3 times, but.
yeah. But, so, yeah, so he owed the money, so he paid it. So now he needs to do the continuing education, and he is still suspended. And I do get calls periodically, you know, is he still suspended? And I'm like, yes, he is still suspended. So,
Who are the calls from?
real estate people, title
Clients
people.
of his.
That, you know, are like, hey, we need to get this done in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, he's got the suspension that he needs to serve, so.
all right, any further discussion on 3C? Moving on to 3D, we're going to approve the exam consultant contract with Dr. Elgin.
right, it is essentially the same contract that has been approved, I think, since 2020. Because it was approved by, and then it also was sent back to approval through ADLL. And so the secretary and the executive team have reviewed it, and what did I have down here? Yeah, he approved it on March 30th. So I tried to get it done as soon as possible. So yeah, ADLL has approved it, and now I'm just waiting on your approval
and I will sign it, and it will be in effect for FY27.
And it is for the 2-hour surveying examination.
Heather, will we have to do a separate contract with Dr. Elgin for that stakeholders meeting on developing?
I think the way we did it, the way we did it 5 years ago is that he has his own appropriation. And we were able to pay him the remainder of that appropriation. If it comes up that it's going to cost more than that, then we would have to go to peer and we'd have to move money into that exam consultant appropriation. I don't know that it's going to come to that.
So that's not covered under item 1 on his contract.
See, it is, and that's why we did it in 2021. I think it was 21, right? The last time we did it, he was paid through this contract because there was some money left over, and so he was paid through this contract. But if special occurrences happen, appointments, then we can look at additional money and asking for additional money to pay him.
Which he would just follow an amendment with us and we would review it.
He wouldn't. We would have to go to peer,
Okay.
like we do with our salaries and matching, and ask for money to be moved into that particular appropriation to be able to pay him.
Okay.
But you have the money, so yeah. And I would have to do a justification and all of that, yeah.
Have you had any problems with the contract
No.
or him? Dealing
No.
with him? He's always seemed responsive.
Yeah, oh, he's very responsive. I mean, he emailed me yesterday. Yeah, he's very responsive. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the stakeholder meeting because it's different. Every 5 years you do it. And, but yeah, and it does include counseling. It does include those things in case he does it. And one of the things that I really like about him is if I have a candidate that just does not understand what they're doing wrong, and so many times, it is extremely clear that they are missing something, that they are missing one particular concept, mathematic concept that is creating this failure of this exam. And he is really good, he's a professor, so he's really good at explaining to them why they're not succeeding. And so we've had this year, with the last exams, probably 10 people he's contacted for me, and we're expecting them to pass this time. So it's there are some that just aren't going to get it, but the ones that have that eureka moment and that light bulb, it's very clear, and he is really good at explaining that.
And that's a one-on-one with him and the.
Yeah, he calls them, or he'll, I'll set up a Zoom or something, and that's included in the contract, but he'll do that and explain to them what they're doing wrong. Yeah.
Okay, is there any further discussion or questions? Probably the first thing we should do is put this to a vote, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract as prepared.
Kyle.
Second.
So I have a motion by
Kyle.
Kyle Sawyer and a second by, was that you, Brian?
Donald.
Donald?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Sawyer, second by Perry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote to approve contract with Dr. Elgin for the Arkansas State Specific Exam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item 3E, establishing the scores for the 2026 April Arkansas State Specific Exam.
All right, so on this one, I did not have, when I sent it to you,
They hadn't been graded.
but they have been graded now, and I've sent those to you. And the ones that are on Zoom, I sent them to you via email, so hopefully you can pull that information up and let me know that you can see that. And I'll also put it on the screen.
This was kind of interesting, Jared. We typically do it in your conference room, or is that our auditorium? And we got a call that we couldn't do it, and it was probably a week before, and so we were a little nervous. But they set us up in the, what was it,
The
Brent?
materials lab
Okay.
on Friday, which wasn't very inhabited people, but I thought it was nice.
We liked it.
Yeah.
We might request
Like this
it
fun?
again.
Okay.
We might request it
I
again for
wanted
exams.
to do some concrete testing and stuff.
Yeah. Play with the equipment. while you're-
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, but it was
Turn the
very
cameras on.
conducive, I
Good.
think, for exams, and so we may ask for that room
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
really awesome. They
I was
did
a
good
little
job.
worried because you kind of have to go around, you have to kind of take a couple of turns to get to it, but everybody seemed to find it.
Good.
And parking's good, so.
And we had a great turnout. It was like 18 signed up
It's a
and
lot of
18
people.
showed up. That doesn't always happen. Usually we have people drop out, but
They
We
get,
had-
they get
yeah.
scared closer to the exam.
Yeah.
They get cold.
But
I'm
they
sorry we
did
had to
not.
move it. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out, I think, even better. So, yeah, that's good. Good news. Okay, so the people that are here, I've got it on the screen, but I've also printed off copies for you of the scores.
I think I have my copies.
Because I sent them to you earlier, but I figured I'd have them also here so that you can see them on paper. So the board members, can you see them?
Yes.
Yep.
You confirm that you can see them?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, I'm going to talk about each one, the history. I will need approval of each part. Okay. And part one, these are the individuals that took it on April 17th. This is the pass fail. Historically, this part, the score is 69%. Given that information, 69 out of 100 points would be passing. And again, I need the points because people are going to take this test after the 17th. The other thing I wanted to show you, because Dr. Elgin and I talked about it, is on part one, we only have one Arkansan. So, you know, I've been saying that the business model is changing for surveyors, and here we go, because, yeah, there was one person from Arkansas that took part one. And they passed, which I'm glad. Do I have a motion for part one?
Okay. Do we have a motion? Can I get a motion for part one to approve the score, the point score being 69 out of 100 points to pass?
So moved, Williams.
Second.
So we have a motion by Williams, we have a second by Dr. Beasley. Any further discussion on part one? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving the point system being 69 out of 100 points to pass, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. So now we're gonna talk about part two.
Part two. On this one, there's 138 points possible. 57 of those points are calculation questions. That definitely helps me if somebody doesn't pass to look at the 57 points to see if maybe that's where they're lacking information, which usually it is. It also helps them. As you can see by the list, there was one Arkansan in the group that passed, or the historic pass rate, and then one that failed. But again, I'm just kind of showing you that the business model is changing to be similar to engineers. So more reciprocity, more comedy people. Part two, the passing score historically has been 66%. Given that information, the part two score would be around 91 points out of 138 points to pass. This also, I forgot to say that in part one, but this also is Dr. Elgin's recommendation, the historic passing rate. Yeah, I wrote it at the bottom, but yeah, he also recommends the historical passing rate.
All right, do we have a motion to approve part two, the points ranking? Being 91 points out of possible 138 points to pass.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Beasley, we have a second by Tom Scott. Any further discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay,
Thank
moving
you.
on to agenda item 3F, the exam workshop coming up.
All right, so every 5 years, you host an exam workshop. We invite Arkansas stakeholders that are professional surveyors to come and help Dr. Elgin in writing the exams. This is a great time because we need to talk about the upcoming change in the PS exam for NCES. So as of July 2027, the NCES Professional Surveyor Principles and Practice exam will no longer test examinees on PLSS. Okay? So NCES is offering a new exam module that's dedicated to PLSS in October of 27. You would be required to change the statute and the rule to be able to require that new module. Okay? They can take it and we'll put it on their record, but for you to say it's a requirement, a licensure requirement, that would have to change. The other thing is that the PS applicants, would be required to register, pay, take, and pass 4 exams. So I don't know that statute would turn, or that bill would turn into an act, or that rule would be approved, because that's an additional hurdle. People are going to see that as an additional hurdle to licensure. So what other boards are doing, and what we've talked about, and we talked about this at the annual meeting in New Orleans, and we talked about it at the Southern Zone meeting in Puerto Rico. Majority of them, everybody has to change their statutes. Their law and their rules. But
majority of us are like, what if we beef up our state exam that currently exists with more questions on PLSS?
And Dr. Elgin wrote y'all a letter kind of saying that, and explaining that. I know that he also sent this letter to Kansas and Missouri because they're looking at doing a similar thing. Maybe a cleaner way is to just put it in the state-specific exam instead of requiring national. But then y'all need to decide, and so this is why it's a good time, because you're going to do the exam workshop so you can vote how you want those questions to be administered. And I think if you look at Dr. Elgin, I mean, he's saying like a third part, or, you know, you could put it as part 2, add more questions to part 2 that are PLSS. I am gonna leave it up to y'all. What do y'all think? Do you want to, if you have a third part, I think that can get, I don't know that I'd recommend that. The first part exam, as y'all know, is 1 hour, and they usually pass it, and it's on rules and standards. The second part is on standards and calculations on how to find lost corners and that sort of thing. That typically, I think the board voted that it would never be over 140 points, part 2, and it's an hour and a half. So, and I'll be honest, I mean, still with an hour and a half, they still struggle to complete the exam. Even though y'all have extended the time period and you've put a cap on the points, I'm just going to disclose that. They still struggle to complete in the time frame.
Do we need a motion before we go to further discussion?
No, I mean, because we're discussing, just general questions, yeah. Because not only do I need you to decide how you want to administer this new exam in 2027, but also you're going to need to also look at the stakeholders, who is going to be invited. And I need you to approve that the board wants to pay for lunch and pay their mileage for the stakeholders to get here. So there's this particular item has a lot of parts. I kind of jumped the gun on the PLSS part, but I still am going to need the stakeholders that you're going to pay their lunch, you're going to pay their mileage, and I'm also going to need something on how the exam, and if you want, this is another thing, if you want to wait until the next meeting to, you know, if you just want to discuss how you want to administer that PLSS piece and then vote next board meeting, you've got time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from my position, and I think what I'm seeing with a lot of our new licensees is there's a struggle to meet the minimum standards. So because of that, I think we need to increase the time and the questions on part 1. I'm not in favor of going to 3 different parts, but I've been doing some work on this, just kind of trying to put together an agenda and how the exam would be administered, you know, just based on my thoughts. And I'm thinking something like a 1.5 hour part 1 and 2.5 hour part 2. And that, I
And
feel
then
like
put the PLSS though in part 1.
part 2. No, just beef up the part 2 with more PLSS questions that.
Okay, because the part 1, they sit there and look at us.
Part 1.
They get that
they
done.
finished pretty early, and we don't let them go until
But that's
time,
also
so they
board
don't just sit
rules
there.
and probably
Right,
more
and they
minimum
pass.
standard.
You just, I mean, majority of them pass it. That one I think is, so if you wanted to add it to that, I think you could. Part 2 is the one that they still need more time, and the pass rate is not as high.
Well, and it's that's the one where they're going to have the calculations.
Mhm.
But again, just the product that I'm looking at that's being followed with the state, looking at some of our new licensees, there's something missing in the exam that when they sit down to issue that first survey, that they're just not catching the things that we need to see on the survey itself. So that's why I'm saying for part 1, I think there does need to be more questioning, and there needs to be more thought brought in on the examinee's part of what we're going to require on that final product. And I think that falls under part 1 as far as the board
think so.
requirements and statement.
I think he put some of that, and I mean, and you are gonna probably be at the workshop, so you'll be able to see that too. I think there is the standards of practice, they're in part 1, but they're also in part 2. I mean, because you can't have them separate from the calculations. So it's kind of sprinkled throughout. And
But we'll also have 2 more board meetings before that scheduled workshop.
right, the workshop, we're looking at our schedules, and depending on the vote here today, to accept the workshop to be performed, it's going to be September, October timeframe. So you'll have the July meeting and maybe even the September meeting before that stakeholder meeting.
Right.
So you can kind of look at it, and other board members can look at it and decide kind of how you want to design it. I know that it looks like it's spur of the moment, and that's because it kind of is, because I wasn't sure how the board was going to deal with the no PLSS in the PS exam, which is huge.
It is.
And but that is how other boards in the PLSS are doing it, and I think that that's a good idea. We just need to create some questions specific to PLSS to put in there.
Okay. Is there any questions or discussion from the members that are online?
No.
Nope, not at this point.
Still have everybody online as
We're
well?
good.
Yes.
So, I guess what we could do, we could table that part, but I still need you to approve the stakeholder meeting to be held September, October 2026. And I need you to look at the stakeholders. We're gonna look at those. These were the stakeholders for 2021. And they're very similar. Of course, we need Dr. Elgin. Daniel Phillips is the state land surveyor, so he needs to be there for the standards. Keith Sykes, you're a board member. Kyle, board member. I didn't put Rod on here, but Rod could also attend. James Osbaugh, the ASU survey program. I've actually talked to his class several times. David Hall, he's RDOT. Is he a dual?
Yes.
Okay, he is a dual. I didn't put that on there, but he's also, what is his title? His title's head of surveying?
He's our division head. of
He's the
survey.
division, okay, yeah. So he needs to be on there. And he was also invited in 2021. He was a good asset, yeah. And then Robert Blakely, he is the head of the UA at Monticello. Terry Cleaver, PS at UACCM. He was there last year. Brady Duff, he's a PS for the Forestry Service. I always find they add some good content. So, and then the person that I added is James Montgomery. And he is with Crafton and Toll. He's well respected. to get somebody in, you know, the private practice or whatever. And James Osba also is in private practice, and of course Keith and Kyle was. So I think it's a pretty good list. I gave it to Dr. Elgin. He agreed. He said that's a really good list. The only ones I don't know about is Kyle and Rod. I kind of feel like we need another board member. I know both of you are dual, so if one of you could fill that position, commit to that position, that would be great. Kyle and Rod.
What's going on? I just figured with your academic experience, you might be more better suited for it, but that's totally up to you. Your call on that one.
I'll take it under advisement. It'll kind of depend on what's going on in my life at that particular time.
Well, and we could add that, we could leave Keith, but on that particular member, we could just say a PS board member. And then that could be decided later.
Sounds
But
good.
I need y'all to vote on the stakeholders so I can send the invites. Does anybody have any questions about any of them that specific?
I doubt any of those stakeholders have been licensed in the last 5 years. They're all older guys.
Yeah. Well, Robert Blakely, I mean, not 5 years, but he's a new.
I just wonder if
So is Daniel.
freshly licensed.
The freshly licensed members are going to be Daniel Phillips
Yeah.
and Robert Blakely. The others are seasoned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of them, they were stakeholders in 2021.
I move with the list as published.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Beasley to accept the list as published and a second by Tom Scott. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor of approving the 2026 list of stakeholders as published, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. So I guess the second motion we need is a motion to approve transportation and meals for the stakeholder list.
Well, and that basically that you are going to host
I mean,
the Arkansas State Specific Survey Exam Workshop in September, October 2026. That you're going to have it. And then second of all, approve the mileage and the lunch for that day.
So can we do it all in one motion or does
Yeah,
it need to
yeah.
be two parts? All right.
Okay, you do.
Do I have a motion to approve hosting the Arkansas State Specific Exam Workshop in September, October 2027,
26.
26, and with approving that, to approve mileage and meals to be paid to the stakeholders.
so moved.
Williams,
So I have a motion by Dr. Beasley and a second by Williams. Is that correct?
that'll work.
All right.
The two doctors.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
The ayes have it.
So then I'm going to put this agenda item back on there about the PLSS part. So be prepared. If you need additional information from me, I will supply it to you. Just let me know and I'll put it as part of the agenda item for the July meeting, okay? Okay.
All right, moving on to agenda item 3G. Board delegates for the NCWS 2026 annual meeting in Henderson, Nevada.
Yeah, this is one of those I had to ask for an extension because it came up. I don't know why, but they do it in April, and you don't have a meeting in April. So I always have to ask for an extension for this particular meeting. So we do have an extension. I have to get with them today on who is going to be the delegates. I am a delegate. Grant is a delegate, does not need to be voted on, but we need 3 board members to be delegates to the meeting. And anybody want to step up?
Are we likely to have trouble with either the secretary or the governor if
No, I think,
Arkansas is paying for
right, I think,
delegates?
okay. I'm certain that the secretary is going to approve the NCES delegates. He's never questioned that. He's always approved them. Even the Puerto Rico trip, he approved them right away. The difference with Puerto Rico, as many of you remember, there was a last minute approval by the governor's office because it was considered international travel by the governor's office. So that was a surprise to ADLL as well. They were surprised. So it went to them and it got approved, but the only ones the governor's office approved were the NCES delegates. So I think it's safe to say if you are a delegate, you're probably going to get approved. It is not international travel, so we do not need the governor's office approval for Henderson, Nevada. You do have the money. You haven't used any of your money for travel. You've not used any of it. So I have a feeling, that it would probably be approved. I don't think we're going to run into the same situation we did with Puerto Rico. But I need 3 delegates. I need 3 people, board members, to say that they will go to the NCES annual meeting.
Heather, what happens if, there's a slew of us that are beyond our term
I know.
with some grumblings that we may get?
You have to be active. Yeah, you have to be active. But since so many of you are expired, I think we just have to roll the dice on that because you do need an active member to go. And that's not only, I'm thinking ADLL's rule or what it would be, but it's NCES's. NCES is not going to pay for you if you are not an active member.
So somebody theoretically could book it and have all their travel expenses they thought paid for and then not get reappointed and be on the hook for those.
Well, if you're an NCES delegate, no. And we kind of ran into that. I've run into that with other board members, but like Murray had a death in the family, and so he could not attend, but he was an NCES delegate. Well, when you're an NCES delegate, they pay for your hotel, your flight, all of that. So that was just a credit. So the only thing he was out because he was an NCES delegate was he purchased a separate ticket for his wife. So he was out that.
I mean,
but if
if
you're an
not,
NCES delegate and something like that happens, they just take that, they absorb that money.
Well, he's actually got a credit,
Well, yeah,
For
it's a
that.
credit, but still,
but you have to spend it in a year.
well, and if you don't, there's not, yeah.
so even if you were not reappointed, NCWS would still cover that if you're not a board member at that time?
Okay. So we'll do a scenario. So let's say that Kyle and Keith
and Dave Beasley were our NCEES delegates. And Kyle got reappointed, but Keith and Dave were not reappointed. In a case like that, NCES would have to eat the cost of Keith and Dave, but Kyle, you would still go. Now, if they bought extra tickets for spouse or something like that, they would, that would be their responsibility. But, I mean, technically, Kyle, if nobody gets reappointed, all three of them aren't reappointed, then it would just be Grant and I that would be able to go. So it's kind of a roll of the dice, but then again, so was Puerto Rico, so was, New Orleans, if you remember. We had the same
It's been this way
conversation.
for years, and it's this way in other states
Yeah.
also.
So if you want to go, put your name up on there and we'll get you voted. But yeah, if you're an NCES delegate, you're not going to be out any money if you cannot attend. But if you are not an active member, you cannot go. And that's NCES rule. You cannot go.
Well, like Dr. Beasley said, it's a roll of the dice.
It's a roll of the dice.
I'll volunteer to go.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
You need to go.
Yeah, El Presidente needs to go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You shouldn't be surprised by that.
I would go. I've got a highway commission meeting that week. So Heather, let me know how badly you need me. I can see if I could potentially slide that to the week before.
Yeah, because usually you have stuff at the same time as our meetings, if I remember right. Yeah. Keith,
Brian, Kyle.
Dan's got a football game that night. I'm out.
Okay. Kyle.
It's up to everybody else. I mean, I went to Puerto Rico, so if anybody else wants to go to this one, y'all can go ahead.
Well,
If
we
anybody-
have 2 slots. So if you want, you could put your name in that slot.
I think the retired guy better go.
So we're going to put, okay, so Keith, Kyle.
Okay.
Can we nominate someone?
yeah, I'm going to put Tom
Come
on
on,
there.
Tom.
I'll go.
All right. Tom Scott. So the 3 that you have are Keith Sykes, Kyle Sawyer,
And Tom Scott.
And I'm planning on going, but I'm planning
I
on
know.
going on Arkansas money or
I know.
another way.
So okay, so this is a little update. So if you remember, you voted that I nominate Dave Beasley for a national award. And I did, and we sent in all the information, and the NCS board is gonna vote next week on the recipients of that award. So I had some conversations with
Jimmy Chow.
Yes, I did. And thank you. And about appointments and that sort of thing. But if he is chosen to get the award, Dr. Beasley, they will pay his way, and I think his wife's, right, to receive the
It may
award.
even be family members, but
Yeah.
because I know, last year's award winner, the daughters were there. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Do we need to help lobby on his support?
Um,
On his
Well, I
behalf?
thought, when I was in Puerto Rico, that I would have to do that. And they were like, no. They said, no, all the information's in, and now it's just, you just have to wait for the board to accept nominations, and then they'll be announced, and then, yeah, we'll have it at the annual meeting in Henderson. So,
But
yeah.
if you all haven't been to Henderson, even though it's just down the road from Las Vegas, it's a very different place. It's very pretty. The resorts are very nice, and there's very little neon.
Okay, if there's no further discussions, do we have a motion to approve the 3 delegates, which is myself, Kyle Sawyer, and Tom Scott?
Make a motion.
So moved, Williams.
You want a second?
All right, so we have a motion from Williams, we have a second from Wiley. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4, applicants for discussion. Everybody online still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Ready. Okay.
First applicant's Hannah Allen, PE Original.
I move we approve.
Second, Williams.
I have a motion by Dr. Beasley to approve, had a second by Wiley. Just ahead of you, Dr. Williams.
No problem.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next candidate is Benjamin Caldwell, PS Original. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve him to take the exam. This is
Second.
Rod.
Sawyer.
So I've got a motion by Dr. Williams to approve. I've got a second by Dr. Beasley. Any discussion about the candidate? So basically on this candidate, he has a BS, a bachelor's, plus the 30 hours of education.
Mm-hmm. And y'all are gonna start seeing that. I've kind of requested them to fill out a separate sheet of paper to tell you what hours, because it was getting difficult for me to figure out from the transcript. So he submitted that form. You're gonna start seeing that form more for the BS plus 30. And
I did notice that.
yeah.
It was, helpful,
mhm.
because I hadn't seen it.
It's very helpful, isn't it? I borrowed it from Oklahoma.
Okay.
It's very helpful. And it kind of gives you a timeline too as to when they completed the courses, and what the courses were.
All right, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next candidate is Kamal Shibo, PE Comedy.
I move we approve.
I'll second. Sawyer.
Have a motion by Dr. Beasley to approve, have a second by Sawyer. Any discussion?
He has asked, I believe this is the one to forego the fundamentals test. And that is actually a suggestion from the licensure committee as a change to model law coming up. that if you have a PE or if you have a PhD in an engineering science, you probably know the fundamentals. And that would be the one instance where they say you can forego this exam. All others have to take it. But a PhD, one would hope you know the fundamentals at that point.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I had to look this one up. I had to get the books out. So on this one, Beirut Arab University, or what he got his bachelor's in, it became accredited
Yeah,
within 3 years. And according to your rule, if it's accredited by ABET, EAC of ABET accredited within 3 years, it's considered accredited. So then the next thing I had to look at is the rule that says if you have an accredited degree plus you have a PhD, you can waive, the board may waive the FE waiver.
and it's
So
actually
he-
going to be put into model law.
Right. So he pretty much, he meets it. It's just a kind of different way of looking at it because of his bachelor's degree. But
Yeah.
it is considered accredited because it was accredited within 3 years.
And a lot of states have been doing this all along. But
Well, I mean, you typically do. I think the only difference is when it was accredited.
Yeah.
I think that's the only question. Otherwise, it would be.
and that is
recommended
the
approved.
only
Yeah,
caveat
right.
that they're putting in. If you've got the PhD, then you can waive.
Yeah. And you have that rule. So, yeah.
So did the NCAAS approve him to sit for the PE?
Well, another state did.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed the PE.
Well, yeah, it just, yeah, it seems odd to me that they would allow you to just,
This happens a lot with people in education.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, and it also happens with international. So you see this a lot. You just don't, this particular combination is his degree wasn't accredited at the time he graduated. It was accredited within the 3 years.
okay.
That's the difference. That's why this isn't recommend approved.
And typically ABET feels that if you get accredited within 3 years, you were probably doing
Taught,
pretty
yeah.
much the same thing
Yeah.
before that. A lot of people do some changing, but typically speaking, they've already been doing it.
Okay, with that, let's put it to a vote. All in favor of approving Kamal Chabot PE comedy, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to the next candidate, John Clark, PE original. John Bruce Clark.
I move we approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Beasley to approve, have a second by Wiley. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is Dale Cody, PE comedy. Do we have a motion to approve? Or deny?
I move we approve him, Rod.
I second that.
As long as he satisfied the conditions.
Have a motion by Dr. Rod to approve, have a second by Dr. Beasley. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving Dale Cody PE comedy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, Jordan Como?
The Giacomo.
Giacomo. Survey intern. Out of, if I remember correctly, he's out of Louisiana. Is that correct? Do I have a motion to approve or deny?
I move we approve.
Second.
I'll second Salyer.
I have a motion by Dr. Beasley to approve, a second by Kyle Salyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next on our list is Alexander Fanningley. PS Comedy. Professional Surveyor Comedy.
Can you write down approval?
Mhm.
And I'll be right back.
Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I move we approve.
Have a motion to approve by Dr. Beasley. Do we have a second?
Second, Williams.
Have a second by Williams. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving Alexander Fanningley, PS Comedy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on the list, we have Christopher Harland, PS Comedy. Christopher Harmon, PS Comedy. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve.
I'll second Salyer.
Have a motion by Beasley, second by Salyer, to approve. Any discussion? Is everybody keeping up? I guess.
Could you
online.
please repeat on Harlan?
Harland?
Who was it?
Yes, we had a motion by Beasley. We had a second by Salyer
To approve.
to approve.
Thank you.
Correct. And we have been going through the list a little bit quickly. Is there any discussion on applicant Harlan to sit for the Arkansas State Pacific exam? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Next on our list is O'Day Tim, PE Comedy.
Motion to approve more.
Second.
Have a motion by Brian Moore to approve, have a second by Dr. Beasley. Any discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Corey Imhoff, PE Comedy. Corey,
To deny more.
A motion to deny by Brian Moore. Do I have a second?
Second, Williams.
So the motion on the floor is to deny. Second by Williams. By Moore, motion by Moore, second by Williams.
I would like to present a third option on this particular candidate. If the board so chooses, they could direct me to give him a temporary license, which is in the rules that I can grant a temporary license. He would then have the 90 days to complete the education requirement. And then he would come back to the board. His application would come back to the board at a later date for consideration of the application. So basically you're putting his application on hold, giving him a temporary license, or allowing me to give him a temporary license. And then this particular application would come back before the board before the 90 days.
He has satisfied the educational requirement.
Correct. I'm guessing that's why you denied it, Brian?
No, I denied it because he's got an ETAC degree.
Yeah.
Technology
Education.
degree.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah. So, but that's the third option.
Okay.
And,
So just for clarification,
sure.
if we were going to move to hold his application and you offer him a temporary license, allowing 90 days to meet the education requirements, then I'll have to have the motion to deny rescinded.
Correct.
I'm concerned that he also misled a client by signing and designating himself as a PE, and he's not licensed in Arkansas.
Right. He did have that in September of 2025.
And that was resolved with the consent agreement, is my understanding.
And he paid it. Yeah, he paid the penalty.
Mine's solely on the ETAC degree. I mean, he's technology. I don't know why we give him a temporary license if he doesn't meet our requirements.
Jesse, do you want to speak on that? She's looked
Sure.
this up
So
for me.
the rule standard for a temporary license has a license from another jurisdiction in good standing and is substantially similar to an Arkansas engineer or professional engineer license, and then your rules define substantially similar as whichever is least restrictive. A, the applicant graduated from an EAC of ABET approved or equivalent engineering curriculum of 4 years or more, or the applicant meets the Arkansas requirements for licensure that were in effect at the time the applicant received her initial license as a PE in another state. And correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, but under B, it would be the same requirement, the EAC of ABET when he received the original license.
Yeah, and just so that you know, I think I put it in your notes, but he did get a license in Arizona in 2004. The last time you took ETAC degrees was 2001.
However, that is model law now.
Well, but that's not, Jared's looking, yeah, so this is the deal. So NCES does have model law, and we do try to be similar so that our people can be mobile for all states, but you have your law that governs you. So it is the same, but yeah, you have your law that you need to look at and to make that determination. So as it stands, you have a third option for this particular candidate where you can direct me to issue a temporary license, and then according to the temporary rule, he'll have 90 days to complete the education requirement, and then the application would come before the board again to accept the whole purpose of the temporary license was that individuals could make up the deficiencies in their application and then come to the board, and get approval.
It is a temporary license, so they are authorized to practice.
For that 90-day period or until the board makes a determination on the application.
So
Right.
what is his deficiency?
He is an ETAC,
Right, but how does he
a
affect
technology degree, and he needs to be an EAC, not an ETAC. So at this point in time, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I mean, the only way you can prove equivalency is you can get a master's, from a program where the undergraduate program is EAC of ABET, or you can make up deficiencies and they would be determined by a credentials evaluation. So he would need to go to NCES, get a credentials evaluation. Y'all see these all the time. You just saw one on the other candidate where they get credentials evaluations and then they have to make up the deficiencies. So whatever that is, he's going to need to make that up.
So he would have 90 days to do all that.
According to the rule on the temporary license, yes.
Waiting room.
Oh, Brian dropped out. Hold on.
Yeah.
Brian? Brian?
Yeah, I'm here. For some reason, I couldn't get my mute off.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure because you made the motion. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm back.
All right, so is there any further questions or discussion about this candidate? The current motion on the table is to deny,
And I presented the option.
and you have been presented with an option.
So Heather, if we do the temporary, and he has 9 days to prove it, and he can't prove it, that's that.
Right, so at the end of that 90 days, if, let's say, he still doesn't meet the requirements, then he can't use the temporary license based on his license in Arizona, and then he would have to come before the board with his application to be approved as is.
And I guess, Heather, I'm confused. So for 90 days, he can stamp plans and put the people of the state of Arkansas in peril because he doesn't have a degree that meets our standards. Yeah.
So this is the deal. The temporary license is kind of interesting because if you remember, I think it was, 19? That they did the legislature made it mandatory for all boards. So it wasn't specific for our board. So how the temporary works, and y'all don't usually see them, you hear about them because I tell you, usually I issue the temporary license to qualified applicants, and then it drops off. So the temporary license is based on their license in another state. So his license, his stamp is going to be Arizona, but he is going to put his temporary license from Arkansas, he's going to write that out above that seal. Okay, so that's how that works. So he's actually doing work on his Arizona license when he has a temporary. So Brian, kind of to answer your question, a lot of people get frustrated because they're like, why do you even have a temporary? Because most clients aren't going to accept anything if it's stamped that way. I mean, they're just not. I mean, most clients are going to want you to have full-blown licensure, not temporary licensure. So I get complaints, but I also have people who don't quite meet the requirements, or better yet, they can't get me the verification from their university overseas in time. So we give them a temporary license so they can begin work in the state immediately. And then when their application is complete, they come before you. I have issued temporary licenses for ETAC people. So I can do that. But that's a temporary license. It's very different than an official full-blown license.
So we're looking at a temporary license that would be under a mechanical engineer.
Well, it'd be engineer, but yeah.
Engineer, but he'd be his area of
And it would be
practice.
based on his Arizona license, which is in good standing.
Okay. Moving forward, is there any other questions or discussion? The current motion on the table is a motion by Moore to deny, which has been seconded by Williams.
I have one more question. If we deny this, what happens?
He can appeal.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he can appeal if he wants to. That's on the table. So, and you've had that before. You've denied before, and they come back to you when they meet the qualifications. That happens, you know.
Heather, how often can he request a temporary license? Can he get one for 9 months and take a couple months off, and the next time he gets a job here?
It's good one time. So, I guess another scenario would be you deny him. Well, no, if he's denied, he can't get a temporary license. That's over. If you give him but the temporary is only good for the 90 days or until the board makes a decision, or I think it's 90 days and, isn't it?
It's 90 days or until the board makes a decision, whichever happens first.
Yeah.
If,
So if in 90 days it's up, he can't practice after 91 days. And if he wants to come to the board with his application, knowing probably what he knows, then he can do that after the fact.
And for clarification, the 90 days would be calendar days, not business days.
Correct.
if we deny him and then he comes up with the proper credentials and reapplies, is he good to go then?
Yeah, I mean, this happens, believe it or not, this happens a lot with y'all. If you don't deny or delay, that's another thing that y'all have done, you delay it. But you have in the past denied people and they come back. If it's based on they don't have enough years of experience or they need to make up deficiencies in their education, you've denied them and they've come back for licensure, and you've given it to them because they made up the deficiencies. They now meet qualifications. So yeah, you've done that. Did I answer your question? Okay.
All right, do we have any other questions? And one more time, the current motion on the table is to deny by Moore, seconded by Williams. And if there is no motion by Moore to rescind his motion, then I put it to a vote. All in favor of denying candidate Corey Inhofe, say aye.
Can I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Can I get a roll call, please? Do we want Miss Linda to call the roll and get the vote?
Yes.
Where you at, Linda?
Myself. There we go. I was trying to, I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute my thing.
All right, the current motion on the table is to deny, and we're putting it to a roll call vote.
Yes.
Linda, will you call the roll?
Tom Scott,
No.
David Beasley,
No,
Donald Perry,
No.
Jared Wiley,
I'm a no.
Rod Williams,
Yes.
that's an against.
Is that for or against? Is that deny or accept?
That's to deny.
Okay. Kyle Sawyer,
Deny.
Brian Moore,
Deny.
and Keith Sykes.
Nah,
Thank you. All right. That was unanimous.
No. It wasn't. I voted no.
Oh,
so.
I
yeah,
thought you
guess-
meant deny. Sorry. Okay, wait.
Yes.
Have the motion and
Yeah,
then, and then.
yes,
re-
Let's
apparently.
verify the motion so that, maybe,
We had
maybe, can we
Deny
take,
or accept. How
can
about
we
that?
take another vote to make sure that everyone voted the way they wanted to?
Yeah,
I would clarify
Okay.
the motion and then.
All right, we're gonna clarify the motion. Go. The motion is to deny Corey Imhoff, licensure as PE Comedy.
So vote in favor will be to deny.
So
So
yes would be to deny
yes will be to deny,
Mhm.
no will be that
against the motion.
you're not in favor of this motion. So just for clarification, Ms. Linda, will you call the roll one more time?
Yes, I will. Keith Sykes,
Yes, deny.
Tom Scott,
No.
David Beasley,
No.
Donald Perry,
Yes.
Jared Wiley,
No.
Rod Williams,
Deny. Yes.
Kyle Sawyer,
Yes, deny.
Brian Moore.
Yes, deny.
Okay.
So the yeses have it. Yeah, I had two.
5. I count 5 yeses,
Yes.
3 noes, and 1 is absent.
Who's the third no?
I have David Beasley, Jared Wiley, and Tom Scott.
Thank you.
Okay,
Motion carried. Oh, I'm sorry.
thank you
No,
for
did-
calling the vote the second
Yeah.
time to get
Motion carries.
clarification on that.
Yes.
Moving on to the next candidate, we have Took Uhlenbag, PE Comedy. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve, Rod.
So
I'll
I have
second it.
both a motion by Dr. Williams and Dr. Beasley to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Salyer.
I have a second by Salyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor to approve the candidate, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. That wraps up our applicants for discussion. Agenda item 4A, moving on to agenda item 5, complaint committee report.
And Grant has stepped out of the room for a second,
So,
so
do we need to take a recess?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
You wanna take,
So, the current time is 11:53. Let's take a 10-minute recess and let's reconvene at 12:05.
Hey, Heather, I've got a noon. I'm going to have to jump off.
okay, Linda, can you make a note of that Brian is leaving?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still recording.
yeah, you have to record.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'll bring that back up when we reconvene.
Thank you. Thank you for.
That was interesting.
Well, the education committee
Oh,
is
Oh,
developing,
wait. Well, and we're still recording, so yeah.
Yeah, we took a short recess.
Sorry, I
so
thought I had more
take a
time.
break.
I know. Well, and I kind of handed that to you too. So.
But he was on the recommend discuss list, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I thought we were still just doing the regular list.
That's not bad.
I was like, we're on, I have plenty of time.
No, yeah. That was, they approved the consent agenda, so all we had was the discuss people.
Gotcha.
Was there any reason to just have another roll call when we reconvene, just of the current board members?
You're the president, so yeah, you can.
I think we will. Since we have somebody coming in on Zoom.
I think that
I don't want them to think we forgot about them.
No.
Do I need to make some more coffee? I know it's coffee stuff.
No, sir. No, it's good, very good.
I turned it off.
Was it good?
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it.
Grant, no.
Didn't like it.
Oh, no, it was.
I put,
And we also have water. Y'all know that, right? We have bottled water, and
We
then we also
forget.
have a water.
Everybody should stay hydrated. Thank you.
I have the Nespresso machine at home, so that's usually what I make in here, and it's 10 times stronger than drip coffee. So
Okay.
I don't know if I made a bad batch or if it's just going from that to the other kind of.
Bud poured down.
I was
But you
president of student
put
body in
that,
myself.
the
I was
consent,
just
in
thinking,
the,
I had a pair of shoes like yours, except
in the holder.
where yours are
You said you're talking
black.
about doing performance reviews.
Mine are monocell Billy blue.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
we gotta read.
That's cool.
So when I
Type
had to,
everything,
when I had to get up
and I don't know. That's
and
what I
do,
mean. What'd
you know, my
Oh, these are
deal
way old. I've had these for a
from
long
student body, when we
They
had
just
guests
look
come in,
I
like.
got these after hearing Rush Charlie was wearing them.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of remember that.
I have a couple pairs of these.
Break them out occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
These were in the back of my.
oh, I love them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I like it.
So,
And you know,
that was
man, I
fun.
kept those things for years. I mean, till I got married, probably, she made me.
You see Jared's?
They're hard to find.
You see
Yeah.
Jared's?
Hard to find.
But I used to have some of those, when I was at school up in Fayetteville,
Gotta look.
some of those keep on trucking shoes.
Oh, gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
they had these big old heels.
Trendsetter.
Yes.
Yes, but his hats.
I used to walk up the steps to class and fall.
Yeah.
When Bella walked on graduation on Friday, she had some big old shoes on, and we were like, and she had just gotten them. I was like, girl, she's practicing or something. I'm afraid you're going to stumble.
So what did she major in?
She got a master's in journalism, and now she's going to go to UAMS for public health, something or other.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's just going to keep.
well, congratulations.
Are those your
Yeah,
kids
I was
on the
getting a
mug?
lot
Are
of
those your kids?
Mm-hmm.
That is
pictures
so cute.
of
That is
friends.
precious.
Yes, my
and their
Father's Day
kids graduating.
Oh my
just
gosh,
it was
that
cool.
is awesome.
These degrees, I've never
Well
heard of before.
done.
I was like,
So did
yeah,
Yeti do
people are
that,
smart.
or did your wife just do that?
My wife had them write it down, and she did. So I have
Yeah, because it's their signature, I guess.
probably have. I think
Look
for
at that. Is
six,
that not the cutest thing?
Oh, that's awesome.
probably 6 years in a row she did it for me, so you can see their signature
Progression,
progress over
yeah.
time. And maybe she was probably 2 years old and a year and a
Yeah.
half old.
Is that not cute? That is cute.
That's cool.
That is.
That is a very good idea.
Yeah. It's,
Even for a grandpa, that would be good.
How did she do
For
that?
grandkids.
So on our
Grandmother.
website, if you just
Or grandma, yeah.
you can have them write on an iPad or write on paper.
We've got
Take
the
a picture of it.
handprints.
Got some
Handprint.
ideas.
And now
Yeah.
she put that on the wall.
Wow.
She got that for Christmas.
That's cool.
So my other one, this is maybe the first one she got me. The rest of them have a year, so I can remember what year it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is really neat. That is very creative and thoughtful. I like it.
Sweet to me.
Are we back?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite.
Yeah, I have
Just
a,
a couple more minutes.
I
We
gave
might
it a
jump in
target.
a little bit earlier.
got a big G on it. It's, hot, it's, fits one big large circular ice cube. Just laid with a lid on it, so.
Very good. I like the color of this one. That's handy. I could use that duck hunt.
I like the size of yours. What is that? 16?
It's fine.
This thing with these big Stanley cups, you know. If a hearing got out of line, we could always, you know, we could always.
If it turned into a
That's
weapon.
right.
And
Yeah.
Dave, as soon as I find out about the national awards, I'll let you know.
Oh, should hope
Well,
so.
maybe they'll tell me too.
Well, yeah, that's true. I tried to get him, I was like, can't you give me something before? Because we really want to know. And they're like,
They'll take my suit.
I know. Well, yeah, we'll have to all dress up.
Have to scrounge a ticket because I don't get one in my program.
I know.
What day is the award given? You know,
Thursday night.
Friday night.
It's usually Thursday or Friday night, yeah.
okay.
It depends on when it ends, I guess.
This ends on Friday, it says.
Yeah, it goes to Friday, not Saturday. So
It's probably Thursday.
Thursday night.
Just let me know if you need me to go, and I'll try to see about that meeting. Do you have the dates for next year's meetings? Do we know those yet? So I can hold those out on the calendar.
I do. I'll have to send them to you. Yeah,
Okay.
I can get
I'll
those
block them off.
so that you have them. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. And yeah, the next zone meeting, let's see, I put the dates. I should.
For zone
We'll talk about
meetings.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's typically like the last week-ish of April.
It's always in April. But,
Where is it next year? Omaha?
it's in Omaha, yeah.
No, that's the,
Southern Zone.
all
Oh,
of them.
Yeah, but it's the zone meetings. You're still gonna meet with your separate zones. We're just meeting all together.
Mega zone.
Mega zone, yeah.
The
In
27 meeting is in New York.
Like Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Verona, New York.
That's the annual meeting.
That's in August.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, but no,
17th
yeah, that's
to
27th.
20th.
It
August
might not be
27th.
a hot place in August.
I think I looked it up and it's like an hour or 2 hours to Niagara Falls.
You gotta do that.
17 to 2027.
You know, I'm on the site selection committee.
Good choice.
But yeah, that'd be August of 27. But we'll talk about that more because I've got to talk to y'all about what we discussed at the Southern Zone.
Okay. Well, we've had about a 10-minute break. Can we check to see if we still have our online board members? It looks like that we do. Just so that we can confirm we still have a quorum. Miss Linda, will you go ahead and call the roll again?
Yes, sir, I will. Okay. Sykes,
Here.
Perry, Tom Perry,
He's got to, yeah.
Rod Williams,
I'm here.
Al Sawyer.
Here.
I know Brian Moore has left the meeting. Tom Scott,
Here.
David Beasley,
Here.
Jared Wiley,
Here.
Heather Richardson,
Here.
Grant Grigg,
Here.
Jessica Kloss.
Here.
Are there any other attendees that I did not call?
Mary Klein. Mary Klein's still not with us either.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the roll call. We do have a quorum, so we will proceed to agenda item 5, complaint committee report, Grant Grigg, investigator.
Alrighty. Here's our current status of complaints. We're at 13. 14. I did get another one in like Friday, so it didn't reflect it on there. Another engineering, unlicensed practice of engineering is the last one. So just when I think I knock them down, they send me more. So
Yeah. Hold on. Yes, ma'am. There.
all right, so I said 12 going into this, so we're at 13. We have had pretty even splits on our new cases, engineering and surveyor, so nothing crazy. We do have 3 unlicensed cases, so that's kind of more than usual. So, and we've processed 5 6 cases have been cleared. We had that 1 consent. So
Okay.
So that was item 5B.
That's 5B.
5C.
5Cs are consent agenda,
Let's see.
and it's going to be the one that's dated today. Oh, I still have it open.
You still have it open, but I think
Bet you
maybe
still
I
have-
can still do it.
Okay, here's a hard copy of it. Oh, we have to.
So, hey, Rod, do you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see the complaints committee consent agenda? Or is it,
I-
what do you see?
I see a list of cases from 2/14 to 2026. Active
Okay.
cases and cases cleared, blah, blah, blah.
No,
Okay,
no.
hold on. I need to share something else. So hold on.
Okay.
Share. Okay, now do you see it? Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we met this morning, had 4 cases presented. I do need a vote to accept or deny this consent agenda.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the complaint committee's consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Wally to approve and second by Tom Scott. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, I'll give you a little summary of what we had here. First case was an engineering case where it was an we actually had engineering. We brought in a technical review by the state engineer, Leland Dyson. So, we don't really get a lot of that. So that was kind of interesting. These other 2 were unlicensed practice of service. These were 2 realtors with a compass, some hunting vest, and a metal detector posted on Facebook that they are helping their client by finding the corners of the property they were purchasing. So that upset some licensed surveyors. So they sent a complaint in on these 2 guys, and they kind of understand that they shouldn't be really doing that, even though they said this is an approximate. We're just out here helping our clients. They still got a survey.
They didn't conduct any surveying.
The one respondent said, I had a compass from Walmart. So that's why I put approximate on there. So it was nothing on paper. It was just a social media post. So the last one was a surveyor that was paid by the client and also paid by the title company. So they filed a complaint, and it was all rectified where the client got their money back. They understood what the issue was, and it was kind of nothing really was an issue. They got paid twice, and so they refunded the money. So.
Okay, any questions about the complaint committee consent agenda or Grant's report on that? Hearing none, we'll move to item 5D, professional CPC and COA audit.
Yeah, as far as the audits are concerned, and I'll let Heather pull the paper up. I'm sorry. Is there a better way to
sorry.
do this?
Sorry. Okay.
Because I just put it in the folder. I don't know. Do I need to do something different?
Hold on. No, it's last minute. So it's just different. But
So dual audits. I sent out 2 dual, only 2. It's really getting lower and lower each time. So nobody had any issues. So everybody sent their stuff back. So PE audit's done. The PES audit is done. So we're just get a little reprieve until the summer when the PE audit happens again. So.
yeah, do y'all have any questions?
Yeah, the biggest problem we had, and I think I talked about this last meeting, was the PS I had one guy that was doing self-study and he was trying to use that. He was fine with hours, but he was over and beyond his 30, but he had a bunch of stuff that was self-study stuff. And I was like, I can't do that. We don't let you read a book by yourself to say it counts. So he understood that. So no big deal there. So everything else was
Yeah.
just fine. So
The next one would be after the duel is the PE
it's the
audit.
big one. So
Okay,
there we go. Any questions for me? All right. Thank you much.
thank you, Grant. Moving on to agenda item 6A, the board on the 2026 NCAAS Southern Zone interim meeting, Puerto Rico.
And I think I sent you, I guess it's not part of this, but I sent y'all the report that I did for the secretary, and I felt like that y'all needed to see that. And it also helps me to remember what all we did. Because we did do a lot of business. The main thing, and I'm just gonna go over this part. The engineering forum, they discussed the ETAC degrees and model law with the proper experience. They made that very clear that if it's an ETAC degree, it has to have more experience. So it's not the same qualifications. As
6
an
years
EAC.
instead of 4.
Yeah, so there's a different additional things to meet. They talked about AI benefits and ethics. They were updated on the I-Corps, which is the incidental practice. I-Corps, which we're a member of, I think it's like us and architecture and accounting and some other professions are together, and they discussed incidental practice with architecture and engineering primarily, if I remember right.
They're also landscape architects and
surveyors.
interior designers.
Yeah, but I think the whole incidental practice was, do we need to come up with model law or something so that we know if it's truly incidental practice. NCES, if you're interested, does have this posted on their website, the I-Corps findings, and people with NCES they were members of this committee. I went and looked at it. I didn't find it super helpful, but we haven't had an incidental practice complaint, well, since I've been here. I've been here 12 years. I know Steve, my predecessor, he had a few, but we haven't had any. But it's there if you want to go read up about that. You can. Again, it's not necessarily in your rules. It's just to kind of give you guidance as to what the professionals think incidental practice would be.
Primarily, it's architecture and engineering,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be the others too. So
Another thing that the engineering forum discussed, performance-based qualifying experience. Dave worked on that committee for what, 2-3 years, something like that?
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shorted you. Hard work. But that was a concern at NCES, was that the experience, is it qualifying experience or is it not? And if they have more experience, does that qualify them for, I guess, licensure? And I think the main thing too was, I thought it was interesting how it got started, was because a lot of these universities are having these different types, like Texas A&M, have these different kinds of degrees that you can kind of build and personalize your degree. So there was talk that like automation engineering or something like that, what test would you take?
What have you done, and why should it be counted?
As experience.
And we've now done the same thing for surveying. So the database that NCAAS will have eventually will actually include the information that these rubrics, although they
No,
don't,
we're
they
not
don't
saying
call
the
it
rubric
rubric
anymore. People
anymore.
got in the weeds, but
What is it? Experience something,
yeah,
but
Officially resume.
it
yeah.
we realized early on in the task force that preceded the licensure committee that sometimes we really don't know what they've done. And is there a better way to know what kind of experience somebody's had? And there are lots of things that qualify you to be either a professional engineer or a professional surveyor, but some people have a hard time telling us what they've done. And so we've made it a little bit more, okay, fill in this. And that ought to tell us. So we'll see.
Topics for the surveying forum were the new PS exam without the PLSS, a new exam module on PLSS, state-specific exams, they talked about that, and development of a new non-boundary PS exam to be voted on at the annual meeting. So, do you know about that, Keith? You want
That's the
to do a summary?
geospatial.
Yeah, Gary Thompson.
Uh-huh.
He's been working on that for 2 or 3 years now, hasn't he?
Long time.
So if you don't mind telling the engineers of the room and the director exactly what that test is on.
Well, I don't know
exam
what-
would be
I don't know
on?
what the test would be on, but I think the hope is there's a lot of survey practice that occurs that's non-boundary, whether it's in construction staking for a highway project. We're going into a lot of new technology with geospatial, the drone imagery and your terrestrial LiDAR, aerial LiDAR. And so all of that really is starting to get close to being under the survey umbrella. It really is. And so I think what NCS's hope is that we kind of rein that in a little bit and get some oversight on the practice of that, which would be good because, you know, in my part of the world, Northwest Arkansas, yeah, I see a lot of that is borderline would be considered professional surveying. And so
I actually sat in on that forum while I was at the zone meeting, and even if it passes at the annual meeting, I think it's a number of years before that'll actually be available to take. Heather, do you remember if it's like 3
That's
or 4
correct.
years?
That's correct, yeah, because they've got to do all the studies and all that before it would even be available. But the vote is to have the exam and explore the exam and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, when we were at New Orleans last year and Gary was kind of in this then, I think they had polled a lot of engineering students, and there was a lot of, most of the college students were in favor of this as a different avenue, you know, really for them for an area of practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of like, I guess, you know, like civil has environmental,
Right,
construction,
right.
environmental, what else does it have? Structural, architectural?
Chemical,
Yeah.
you know, chemical.
So you have different disciplines you can take, so it kind of only makes sense that you would have that for the PS exam as well.
It does. I mean, the technology has changed and advanced so much that, you know, I think there needs to be other avenues for licensure, and even that said, you know, some board oversight.
Yeah.
Well, this would be a module like the PLSS module.
But it will give them some opportunity and
Well, and I think
to prove equivalency, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
You know, if it comes up in question, you know, are you practicing outside of your competency, they can take this test to prove. Yeah,
Well, and
it's not a
that's-
requirement, but
that's
it's something
always
they can do.
been, or it's kind of hard to know when you cross over that line that you're not doing construction staking anymore. You're actually kind of crossed into boundary survey work. So I think just the educational component would help further that, and candidates that go through it and they get the non-boundary licensure would understand where their limits are. Similar to all the different civil practices. Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Okay, so member board administrator, we discussed state and federal legislative changes that are affecting boards and licensure. There's lots going on. There's new case law where the Supreme Court denied to review the 360 virtual drone services versus North Carolina board. And it's an Institute for Justice case on free speech versus conduct. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. NCES ELVS database, we talked about that. We talked about new NCES task force to make recommendations on the current problems with fraudulent seals and signatures. And I'm going to revisit that. AI issues and update on I-Corps and the incidental practice. So going back to the virtual drone services versus North Carolina, it was a guy who got a drone and then he started selling his services, and he was saying he was determining property lines with the drone. Okay. But then he took it a step further because the actual software for the drone was, it would spit out like calculations and it would tell you specifics. Well, he didn't understand that put him practicing surveying, because he's actually giving you data. He's actually giving you corners. He's actually giving you that. And so he, from what I understand, he's just a guy who, I want to say he was a felony, and he was out on his luck, and he got this drone to kind of start a new business, had no idea. Well, the North Carolina board said, you're practicing surveying without a license. So the Institute for Justice, which we've talked about them before, they picked up his case. So they paid for it and everything, and took it through the court system all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court denied it, which...
Well, he had lost all along the way.
Right,
too.
right. And the Supreme Court denied it, which is kind of a win, because it was a case in which Institute for Justice said it's a free speech. He can do this type of work, whereas the North Carolina board said it's a conduct case, right? So we're seeing a lot of that, and so this is just kind of one of those cases we can kind of look at. And
apparently there's another one in Oregon
yeah,
that's going
and there's
on.
one in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one in California.
So,
I wasn't aware of the
yeah.
one.
So we're watching them to see decisions are being made there, and they're a little bit different. So you kind of have to pay attention to those differences in those cases. The other thing I was going to tell y'all about is we talked about there is a current issue that we have with fraudulent seals. It's not just us, it's everywhere. And it's these freelance sites that people are going to. They're hiring work through these freelance sites, not knowing, they're only knowing what is told to them in the advertisement on the site. So like, they're not meeting with Keith Sykes to do a survey.
We have licensed people.
Right, we have licensed people. So anyway, and it's cheap, it's quick. It's coming back that some of those people are international. Majority of those freelance sites are in other countries. So it kind of puts our enforcement at a disadvantage at finding the people and even subpoenaing the company to find out the information because they're not here. So it's an online problem. It's an AI problem because a lot of people use AI and don't realize that it's public information. If you use AI, some of the software to where these fraudsters can pull up documents by an engineer, by a surveyor, and actually steal the digital seal. So it's a big issue. There are no real answers right now. I did talk to ASPE, and I did talk to the Little Rock Engineers Club, April, about it. And I also talked to, who did I talk? I talked to ASU, has a survey class. I talked to them about it, case law. So I'm trying to get the word out, because the only way we're going to know that that's happening is if somebody complains, because there's no way to police it. But it is a problem, and that was one of the things that the MBAs, they said we need a task force to be set up to decide how do we deal with these type complaints, because it's way bigger than any state, and it's becoming a real problem.
Should we put something on the board website that just kind of touches on that, just for public awareness?
Maybe if I can get something that's clear, because like right now, that's why we want the task force.
Yeah.
We want it to be clear, because not all AI is bad, and we haven't found a good freelance website.
No.
But I will tell you, it was interesting at the Little Rock Engineers. I mentioned some of the names of the freelance companies, and so they looked it up on their laptop while I was talking, and they burst into laughter. They were like, "You're not kidding." And I was like, "No, I'm not kidding. People are going, Arkansans are going on these sites, hiring people to do structural designs, and then have them emailed to them, and then they're paying for it either through the freelance site, or they're paying for it with Walmart gift cards." I mean, I'm not lying. It is crazy, but we don't know how to stop that. And I don't know that even educating the consumer is going to work. I kind of feel like, and that's what we discussed, I kind of feel like it to go to, municipalities and counties. I actually got a call from Conway, and it was a fraudulent seal on a survey. So it's both practices, and it's here. And I think we're just going to see more of it, especially with AI, because you can just reproduce those things. So, be looking for more information. It's kind of mine and Grant, we're kind of on it. So, the law enforcement, they talked about that as well. And they talked about the federal court cases as well, I think. We don't know, because nobody went to it. But they came up and did a little presentation, and it sounded like their conversation was very similar to the NBA's. So do I have any questions about that?
We had a case a few years ago, if I remember right, that one of our engineers had his stamp stolen by one of those sites. I can't remember the guy's name, but he filed a complaint against some outfit, and they had basically used his stamp, and it was one of those kind of fraudulent things. I don't remember the details, but I vaguely remember the case.
It's very, very prevalent. And at the annual meeting in New Orleans, West Virginia came in and spoke to us, and it was eye-opening, because they had discovered it. And of course, the freelance site is not in the United States. I think it was Australia. But they discovered that, there was a guy who used AI to do all of his drawings, his drafting, and his reports. And so they basically, the fraudsters pulled his seal off of those reports
And then by using AI and asking the proper questions, created an actual, it was like a fire safety plan, engineering plan. And the lady that's from the Virginia board, that's her specialty. And she was like, yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate plan set for fire suppression. So it's a problem. It's a problem. And, you know, people just need to be guarded and know that, you know, if you get a call saying, hey, we need some extra explanation on your, you know, awnings that you designed, and you didn't design those awnings, you need to let us know. And you also need to let the city, municipalities, county know. I am going to share quickly. I think I can do this. I can. Okay, so here are some of the pictures. Can y'all see those pictures? Do you see the blown up picture? The full screen?
No.
I don't see a blow up. I see a selection or a compilation, whatever.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I have to share each one. I guess I do.
Yeah.
I was hoping I didn't have to. I'm just going to go through them if y'all don't mind, and you can kind of see the. But anyway, I took a picture of the court case updates because I think those are important, and we're monitoring that. There's a picture.
Bandanas again?
Huh?
Bandanas again?
I did. I took my bandana to prove we were there. There we are. I thought this was cool. This was in the rainforest, and it's USDA rainforest.
Wow.
I know, isn't that cool? Todd's like, how do you find that stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I do though. So I took a picture of it. There I am. Okay, so I had just informed everybody that the schedule said that we are going to have our Southern Zone meeting in Omaha, Nebraska. But I've decided, and site selection has decided, we're going to have it in the Virgin Islands. Everybody was very happy. NCES people started scrambling. I was like, no, I'm kidding. We're going to have it in Omaha. But that's what that is. And then me talking about the different sites. This is us at the dinner, and there was lots of dance and music. This is a video, and I don't know, y'all can't see it anyway, but it's very pixelated, but it was like a conga line through the tables and chairs. None of my board members or spouses participated, I'm just saying.
Got in one more class.
Thanks for clarification.
Yes. There's the host, and that's Jimmy Chow and his wife. Jimmy was he in Old Town, Puerto
Old Town.
Rico? And
Yes.
his phone was stolen.
Out of his back pocket.
So he gave us updates every time, he's the
He can
Southern
track
Zone VP. So every time he came up on stage, he would say, okay, my phone has made it to a house. It's in the third bedroom of the house. And he had reported it because he, has the Find Me feature, or his wife has the Find Me feature. And he was able to erase it, which I don't understand how you can erase it and still do Find Me. But anyway, the Puerto Rican police said that they won't do anything about it. And he was like, I'm showing the guy walking into the establishment just over there. And they were like, we will not go and get it. So he was very frustrated. It was kind of comic relief when he would give us the updates on the phone like it was a stolen pet or something, He's like, now it's living at this house, and, I'm taking up donations. I'll buy your drink if you'll go over there and get it. It was really funny. But typical Jimmy. We love Jimmy. I took a picture of this because I've never seen this stuff, and this is all native to Puerto Rico. So you've got, this is called ginger. What was it? Ginger?
What was it? Rough ginger
Or something ginger. And it actually smells like ginger.
and there's, of course, a pineapple, and there's bird of paradise, and there's orchids. It was just, it was
beautiful.
lovely, but that's their native stuff. You see it everywhere. And there's a picture, and that one, it has Jimmy and everybody. Oh, that's a root that they eat, and it's like mashed potatoes, kind of.
It's taro.
Yeah, and but it's purple, and it's, but that is one of the things that they served at dinner.
That's big and.
They have lots of lizards. I thought it was really interesting. They do not have any snakes. No snakes. No poison ivy. No poison oak.
Well,
But
that's,
they have other things that you have to watch out for. But yeah, and
They have
that's an
some
iris.
iguanas that-
Yeah,
they could eat you.
yeah.
If they
That's
bite you, you die.
You done it.
so. This is an iris that's only found in Puerto Rico. So I took a picture of that. I have lots of pictures, but that's just a little sampling there. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'll figure that out. I think one time I was able to do some sort of a,
Did the police explain why they wouldn't go get his phone?
I think it happens all the time. I think, you know, anymore, you know, pickpockets was your wallet. I don't know, it's your
They
wallet. I
have
think,
a warrant or something like that, rather than just, it's over there.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was very frustrating. We felt for him.
Yeah.
We all wanted to, you know, help in some way, but if you're not going to be backed by the police and you potentially could be charged, we were like, well, Jimmy, will you pay our bond money and our court costs if we go get your phone? And he said, no, just a drink or a drink ticket.
He was free with the drink tickets, though.
He was.
That
So
sounds
it sounded
like
like y'all had a good time.
We did. We had a good time, and
He tried to bribe Kyle to be on the resolution committee.
yeah. Murray had agreed.
After Murray had already got it disbanded the year before.
Yeah. Murray did.
Uh,
And so we were like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, because yeah, they kind of said they're never going to do it again. And
But
then,
they did it.
but they did it. And minus Kyle, minus Murray. And it was funny. It was enjoyable.
it was-
So, yeah. I do not really have anything for 6B. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add about ASPE or ASPS? I know ASPS, they're still going to file in the 2027 session the same verbiage to oh, I need to talk to you about this. Okay, so they still are going to file it to where it is half the experience before the degree and then half the experience after.
Do they realize that once you open the law, it can wind up any
Okay.
way somebody feels like?
I had a conversation with Kathy Hart, and some of you know Kathy. Kathy is the director of the Oklahoma board. And I had a question because we recently had a candidate that was a PE, and I'll tell you all about that later. But also the PS, I was like, you know, what are your requirements? So we went over them, and they're very similar. They're actually, to me, more burdensome than ours, because ours, you can have, it's any survey related courses. You just have the requirement of the two, whereas they have specifics. Like your courses have to be in this, your courses have to have this. But the other thing that I thought was really interesting is she said her board actually went to the legislature to change the law to where it was half before and half after.
after. But the legislature, Oklahoma legislature, saw that as a burden and an unnecessary hurdle. So they said, you can have the experience anytime. So I'm going to share that with ASPS just to say, you know, this is an example that if you take it, because it was that all experience is after, like yours, professional experience is after. But when they tried to change it half and half, the Oklahoma legislature said, no, it's any time, because we feel having to have half of that after is a burden. So that was kind of a good conversation she and I had. They also had a similar one about the PE. I got an applicant who had 2 years of experience, and it was a PE. And, you know, everybody, it's 4 years. So I asked her about that, and it's kind of similar. They went before the legislature to tweak some of the experience requirements, and the legislature went a different direction. And she said they're going to have to clear, she said they're not going to clear up the survey one because they made that very clear. But the PE, they're going to have to clear it up in the next session. But apparently, if they have qualifying 2 years of experience and it was underneath a licensed PE, they only need 2 years. So the legislature kind of did some work on that, and they said they're going to have to clean that up. So that's an example of, you may have really good intentions and it may make complete sense to you, but once you open that door, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
So that was interesting.
You're not driving the bus anymore.
Right. So I'm glad I remembered that.
Are those state by state requirements in statute generally, or can they be handled through like a promulgation of rules?
Well, typically they're in statute, and then the rules kind of talk more about the process on how to get it done.
Okay.
Get a little more specific, but you know, you can't have a rule that opposes the statute, you know, anytime. And that's why, you know, I mean, I kind of like, if the statute's clear, that's really nice, because you really don't need to promulgate a rule. But yeah, their qualifications were very similar to ours, if not the same. But that's an example of, you know, if you go to the legislature to try to change something or clarify something. I think the PE was more of a clarification. Somebody says, oh, wait a minute, why don't you do this, because we think this is a better route.
Under his saddle.
Whether they're an engineer or a surveyor or a professional, you know, no. But it's a good example, and there's lots of that going on. It's not just Oklahoma. It's just, I had that conversation with her because we've had applicants, and I wanted to see what they're doing, to see if it matches what we're doing, kind of thing. So that's that. All right, people online, wake up, because now y'all need to nominate your next president and vice president. Currently, Keith Sykes is the president of the board, and the vice president of the board is Tom Scott. So I need nominations for president and vice president.
So I'm going to nominate Tom Scott for president and Jared Wiley for vice president.
Second.
Okay.
So got a nomination and have a second by
Beasley.
Dr. Beasley. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of Tom Scott being president going into June of 2026 through June of 2027, and Jared Wiley being vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, I didn't get a chance to discuss
You did have a chance to
You did.
discuss it.
You
Well, wait,
discussed.
it was
You just too slow.
So,
I do find it interesting that the gentleman who I have highly respected, the second that motion, is also leaving the state in the same year that I may be serving. And I'm thinking that could be a telltale sign of.
Well, I don't want to get arrested when you do.
yeah, it might be good if you're all in separate locations. All right. Any other business? So that being said, looks like our next scheduled board meeting is July 14th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Yes, and we will have a disciplinary licensure hearing as well as a board meeting.
Okay. So it looks like the second Tuesday of July,
Immediately.
and probably need to be scheduled for a full day.
Yeah, so we'll probably do, if it's okay with y'all, we'll have the disciplinary hearing at 1, like we've done before.
Well, then I'd like to take this opportunity real quick to thank the board members for allowing me to serve as president this past year. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I hope I've done a good job for you. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Beasley, a second by Scott. The time is 12:46. We are adjourned.
See y'all.
See you.
Adios.
Washington State,
Where's the?
Thank you, everyone.
Seattle area.
Are one of the kids out there?
One of the kids is in Seattle, and we'll actually be south of, about halfway between Seattle and Tacoma.
Yeah.
In the town of Des Moines.
All right.
It was named by a bunch of people from Iowa,
Oh,
Talk to
really?
y'all later.
south of the SeaTac Airport.